Hello and welcome to the Seahawkers podcast. I'm Brandon Schultz, and today on this live Saturday episode, I am joined by my good buddy Clinton Bonner. How you doing, man?
I am doing well. In the Ron Burgundy-esque sense of that escalated quickly, Brandon, we've got Seahawks news that went from like, oh, that stinks to like, oh, that stinks. And we're going to talk about that and the ramifications for tomorrow. And stick around. We are going to do our Blue Friday bets at the second half of this show, too. So we got lots to cover there all of a sudden, Brandon.
Yeah, well, let me just remind you, as much as it stinks to maybe look at some of the Seahawks news, just think about how much it stinks to be a fan of the Arizona Cardinals.
I mean, there's so many teams, Jets, Cardinals. I was walking my dog today with my Seahawks cap on, like my little like beanie. And this, woman, youngish woman, she's like, oh, you're a Seahawks fan. I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, I cheer for the Browns. I was like, I am so sorry. And she just laughed. I mean, this is Connecticut. Like, what are we doing here? So, at least the Seahawks, we win some games. But wow, Browns fan sitting in the middle of Connecticut. Bizarre. So, yes, you made me feel better, Brandon. Thank you.
It could always be worse.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
As much as we thought maybe the season would be worse for us, but yet here we are halfway through the season, and it's going swimmingly.
Well, 6-2 is 6-2, my man. And big game coming up tomorrow. Look, you and Adam talked about it. We talked about it on What If. We've been going back and forth. How are you feeling overall for tomorrow? Like confidence level, 12 being utmost confidence, like we're going to commander them down to, well, I mean, you know how scales work. Where's your confidence?
This is a good question for live in chat, too. I kind of want to get a sense of the confidence of people listening here. I think my confidence is high as because it's the Arizona Cardinals, and we generally play that team very well, and it's going to be at home. And yeah, I feel like people are making a lot out of this business about, Mike McDonald's got a losing record at home, but we've tended to play some stronger teams at home here recently, and I think the Arizona Cardinals are not a strong team, but a strong executive producer is Ryan 911, who's coming in with a live $9.99 super chat saying, "Go Hawks, go Hawks, Ryan,
go Hawks, Ryan." That is awesome stuff. One of the interesting stats that came out fairly recently, I think it was Nemhauser, so give him credit because he did the work. But he was looking at percentage of snaps where you are the leading football team, right? Like compared to the others. Yeah. Seahawks were by far and away first in the league, that's a good indicator that you're winning a lot of games, or at least you should be. But the kind of spooky part, now that Halloween's over, is the Cardinals were second.
Really?
So they have the second most snaps while winning. And because they played Indianapolis super tight, like all these games where they're in it.
And their fourth quarter record though.
It can't be good.
they are worst in the league when it comes to scoring or points allowed in the fourth quarter.
Well, that squares, right? It's like you can't have
out with their record.
You can't have the record you have and have that other stat and then that not be the case, right? So, yeah, and that's with them coming back against us in the fourth quarter. Like you got to imagine most of their snaps while trailing were actually the first game against us until they kicked into gear and we stopped playing for about a quarter. So, how the turntables, right?
Shane Turner Acoustic coming in with a $2.99 Australian super chat. Morning, dudes. Let's get this dub versus the Cardinals. And Shane just not fast enough to get in ahead of Ryan today, but that's okay. You guys can compete next time. We do appreciate you trying to get in early and help kicking off the show as well. So a big thanks to you both.
I want to give a real quick shout out to Shane. He posted on, if you follow him or are friends with him on Facebook, he's a musician, right? He's out in Australia, and he put a awesome cover of him doing Gangster's Paradise up. Oh. And it's just, it's like a little one shot of him from whatever bar he was at. And Shane does the whole thing where he like loops, he lays down the bass, then lays down like a little melody and then loops it and uses the machinery to kind of patch together and play the song kind of full just by himself, which I always think is really, really cool. And then you hear him sing Gangster's Paradise, like, oh my gosh, this is a really good cover. So go check it out. It's worth your time. He does it really, really good. Plus, go check out his other music too. He's a good dude, and he could sing. He could belt.
Can we put in requests? I want Busta Rhymes Dangerous next.
No, there we go. I like that. Well, I mean, he's giving us $2.99. Maybe we could chuck the guy back some money for if we want to put a dime in his jukebox,
Yeah, for sure. All right, so coming up, we've got the Arizona Cardinals. Today, we're going to be talking about some Week 10 injury updates. We've got some news for you.
Yeah.
And, Clinton, you've got some top bets you want to get to.
We do. So for those that don't know Blue Friday bets, usually Adam and I go through them. Adam's back on the road. So it'll just be the second half of the show like we did last week. Adam went 3 for 3, just a little foreshadowing last week, so he's got the crown. And I will say that both Adam and I, we always place our bets separately. We both think Seattle might be able to run the ball pretty effectively in this game, so stick around for that.
Oh, okay. Finally, it's about time.
Yeah, exactly. True.
Well, thanks for everyone who's joining us live here on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, as it might be for Shane in Australia and any of our folks listening in that direction of the world. And if you're here for the first time, give us a subscribe. We'd also like to have you like the video after we're done. Just helps boost the show a little bit, and we appreciate that. So
yeah, absolutely, dude.
You put out a question, Clinton.
I did.
What was it that you were most curious about asking our fellow Seahawks fans ahead of this game?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if Admiral Akbar was in their hearts and minds with this game. Is this game against the Cardinals a trap? I mean, it's a trap game, right? It's trappy, but is this game a trap, yay or nay? And almost 3/4 of the flockers out there said no. Mike McDonald's got this, bro. Don't even worry about it. But about a quarter were like, yeah, this is actually exactly what a trap game is.
The trap game piece of it makes a lot of sense because as Shane Turner Acoustics coming in and saying, okay, are we worried that they played in primetime now and they are ranked number 1 by some pundits? That worries me. And I feel like this too, right? We have this level of confidence. Here we were in primetime. We beat a team that in the off season and leading up to the season, this was a game that was circled on a lot of our calendars, right?
Yeah,
This Washington Commanders team, a team that played in the NFC Championship. And here we came around to this game and then we destroy the Commanders. And yeah, they aren't quite the team that, I think that many of us expected at where they were or where they would be at this point in the season. I know that, we heard from, one of the Commanders players Von Miller.
Oh, yes. Right.
He was saying that he chose the Washington team over us, the other Washington team, and that maybe had a little bit of regret.
Yeah, a little buyer's remorse with that one, right?
Little buyer's remorse.
It's what is that? The third Indiana Jones, I think, where you get the old man, right? That says
you
chose poorly. So Von Miller chasing that chip, and that would be his second chip, right? Because he got that one with Denver, I believe. And so chasing that second chip as at the twilight of his Hall of Fame career. And hey, you chose. What can I tell you, Von? You chose poorly. You look cool in your glasses. We know you're smart and all, but that was a dumb decision.
So this 3/4 difference, 24% with it being a trap, 76 thinking McDonald has our guys ready. I think it just speaks to the team that we're playing because, it's because it is the Cardinals. But I can see how a lot of people would have that feeling of a trap considering where the team has kind of been elevated to in terms of the national media and a team that we're playing that we're very familiar with. And maybe some of the injuries that this team has, Clinton.
Yeah. Their team, our team, right? So there's injuries on both sides of the ball for sure. And that's going to be interesting too, just to go through that because, now Will Johnson's not there. Now Max Melton, brother of Bo Melton, both Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Their dad went to Rutgers also. He's not playing either, and he's a pretty good DB. So they're pretty
Wilson,
thin.
their linebacker.
Yeah, their linebacker. He's a good linebacker. He's out. So they're thin too. I just think that, what I think most people, like Shane was saying, a lot of people watched them play the Cowboys. And while the Cowboys aren't great, they're definitely okay. And the Cowboys have been putting up numbers on people, and then they didn't. Like Dak and team looked bad. Their defense played pretty darn well, and this is a good defense, man. And then you start piling in players like Walter Nolan, who yes, it's just one game, but he played well for them in that one game for the Cardinals, a D lineman, a rookie. I think he's from Ole Miss, and he played well. So they have a lot of beef. They got some beefy boys right at defensive tackle. And now, as we head to the news and notes, we're losing some beef up the middle. I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, and just before we get to our Seahawks, a couple other names on the injury report for the Arizona Cardinals. Crawford, their safety, he's questionable. Will Hernandez on the offensive line, he's questionable. And also Xavier Weaver, one of their wide receivers, listed as questionable. B.J. Ojolari, another one of their linebackers we didn't mention, is out. Mm-hmm. So those are the guys kind of hitting the report for the Arizona Cardinals. But we don't care about those Cardinals. What we care about is our Seahawks. And a couple guys hitting the injury report. And Torrey Horton, listed as doubtful, likely not going to play from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
And Jaron Reed, another big injury name added to that. And even worse news here recently that he's going on IR for a few weeks. And then we've also got showing up here on the screen Ernest Jones at linebacker, who is listed as doubtful. And I would kind of hope that he doesn't play, to be honest.
Well, if you're doubtful, then that the word is actually accurate there, right? Because they changed that from a couple of years back. Doubtful's pretty much out,
but there's a chance.
That's why you're there. That's true. Careful now. Look, if he's not ready. I am just not in the A. By the way, if I had a vote, I would be with Admiral Akbar. I do think this is a bit of a trap game. Doesn't mean I think we're going to lose. Mm-hmm. I just think this is going to be a bit of a clenchy fourth quarter. Like, don't look past these Cardinals. They're okay. They're a pretty good team. So I'm kind of on that side of it. So if EJ is good, we could use him because they've got some talent. Trey McBride specifically up the middle there. I'm not really too worried about their run game now with Reed out. That hurts. Reed is one of the best run stuffing DTs who causes pressure and havoc. That's going to hurt. You don't just replace Jaron Reed's strength. And with Reed, it's also kind of freed up Byron Murphy sometimes, or it's freed up Leo or the edges. It's very complimentary down there. It's going to be certainly a little tougher slaying. We have some like Mike Morris, ascending, certainly having his best year so far, but by no means is he Jaron Reed. More Brandon Peely, cool. Like he does a job as just a true nose. But he's just not Jaron Reed. He's nowhere near as malleable and as important to our team. So I'm not sure exactly how we fill it, except for maybe, Brandon, simply, more Murphy, more Leo. But how much more can you get out of two dudes that are already playing at least a Pro Bowl level?
They could just continue to be awesome. And that's
true.
That's easy to expect against these Cardinals. And a couple of people coming in with their thoughts on whether it's a trap game, whether it's not a trap game. Shane Turner Acoustic saying, I'm with Akbar. Cards have nothing to lose and are gaining momentum. Momentum is real. And Yokai Hawk saying, a trap game represents a risk that due to a team's lack of focus or aggressiveness, they drop the game. I am in the 75%. Not worried. We'll be ready.
Nice. Yeah, it's a great conversation, right? It's a lot of fun. We didn't touch too much on Horton yet, who's center square. If you're watching on YouTube here, that's a shame because he has his breakout game. Then we make a trade and we go get Shaheed, which is great. I think it's very timely at this point because Cooper Kupp is questionable. Looks like he will play. He's training towards playing. Mm-hmm. Bobo didn't go on IR, but he's not playing, and Derek Young went on IR. So we're looking at Cody White, Ricky White, Rasheed Shaheed, and Horton like being out also. So it's a pretty big wholesale change at wide receiver. So I don't know, Brandon. It's like, hey, if Leo and Murphy could just continue being awesome, maybe there's another wide receiver that could just continue being awesome, and we don't really have to worry about this switcheroo with all these other pieces.
Well, it's easy to predict JSN continuing to be awesome because he has been. Nobody's been able to cover him, despite, I think, teams are coming into games thinking like we have to find a way to cover him. And we've even seen teams give him bracket coverage and he still finds a way to win. So it's a big credit to Kubiak for finding ways to scheme open. And then also JSN, I mean, just finding incredible ways to get open and Sam darting it into some really tight window throws and picking up some big yardage with Smith and Jigba. So, yeah, it's been fun. And I hope that fun continues against the Cardinals.
Me too. The only thing I would say is that I think we'd be remiss not to remind folks that the Cardinals were the only team to hold JSN without a catch in the first half of the first game, and then he came back. I think it was 5 for 79 and really dominated the second half. I also believe, I think I'm right, that was like JSN's flu game. Like he got sick Thursday, Friday. He was totally out of it and was very questionable, and he played. So. Maybe he just got some miracle IVs at halftime. And so instead of 5 for 79, now we see, I'm going to say 12 for 157 and 2 tutties. How about that?
I like it. How about Rasheed Shaheed coming in? What do we think that we're going to see with this trade being made? Perhaps at a good time with all these receiver injuries happening. Jake Bobo out and, and Cooper Kupp still questionable for this game. At Torrey Horton, if he's not going to play, like it does feel like we need a number 2 now, and here he is, Rasheed Shaheed.
Crazy. I mean, just like the timing of everything that slipped through. This is a team in the Seahawks that we came out of the bye somehow injured, played a game, got more injured. That happens. That's a game, and it's that wholesale change where we're gonna have 2 whites, Cody and. Ricky, Cody and Ricky. And Shaheed is going to be, I think, incredibly important. And when you hear him talk about, okay, how different or how similar is the playbook, which I think is really important for tomorrow now, he says, hey, it's pretty similar, and then if you hear the coaches talk about it, I think they asked Kubiak about it. It might have been McDonald, one of the coaches, and they were like, well, there's a lot to learn still, so how much has really changed from his time in New Orleans? How much can he just pick up? It's the first thing to look at is just how often will he be on the field? How many, if we get 70 offensive snaps, sometimes you get around about 70, hopefully 70 or more. What do you predict from Shaheed to be on the field if we have, let's say, 70 snaps?
Oh gosh, if Horton is out, he might get as many as 50.
I'm pretty sure Horton is out. I think he's out.
Yeah. So unfortunately, if we had some healthiness, and and part of that could be with Kupp's health too, because if we see a relatively healthy dose of Kupp, then I'd probably put it more around 30 or 40. But if Kupp's not fully back, I think it could be as many as 50.
Me too. The exciting part is that the Arizona defensive backs don't cheer for injury, but when they happen, and you have to take advantage of them in the NFL. We went through it earlier. They're suddenly depleted there, and Will Johnson, their rookie stud, played pretty well. He had a bit of an injured start coming out of college there, right? I think it was Michigan, but played well, and then he got dinged again. So it's just they are really, really down to some Sergeant Scraps back there. And if you just have an elite route running burner like Shaheed, how cool would it be? Maybe just once, Brandon, like one of those off the screen moonshots, and then they pan and you're like, oh my gosh, he's got like 3 yards on the guy, and he comes down with it. That would be really, really fun to see tomorrow. And, and then let's just, hopefully the season is a good season, but let's just let's warm up the executive of the year for John Schneider, because man, the dude has got to be in the pole position at this point with the strings he's pulling.
Yokai Hawk in chat saying, we should feel a bit sorry for Arizona defensive coordinator Nick Rallies. How is he supposed to draw up a pass defense when he doesn't know anyone?
Yeah, all noobs, right? So
it's okay, Chief, you got JSN.
All right, guy. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy, you got deep safety. Buddha, make sure and coach some of these guys up for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When you got Buddha Baker on your defense, though, that does.
He's awesome.
That dude can be pretty much anywhere and then wreak havoc. And so that's the one guy on the Arizona Cardinals defense besides Calais Campbell, I guess. So you got Baker in the back and Calais Campbell up front going up against Anthony Bradford. And it's those two guys that if you don't account for them, they can wreck any play. And in a team where we've turned the ball over quite a bit on offense to this point, that's the part that does have me worried about against these Cardinals.
One other aspect that we haven't mentioned yet that I think is going to be important to tomorrow is also that Barner is questionable. Now it looks like he's trending towards playing, which is great. And Salbert was put on IR last week, so they brought up Collar up, and Arroyo is a different type of tight end than what Barner is.
Yeah.
If we need to get into a bit more, 12 and get into some more not max protect, but just more protection, and Barner is not 100%. It just the dynamic of this team changes all of a sudden. If it's like, okay, Cup's dinged. He's one of our condensed formation good blockers. Barner is dinged. He is our best, all around tight end by a long shot. And now Shaheed's in there, right? Which is a speedster guy that you would see very often with 11 personnel in the field. The composition's changed. Now, how do they coach to that is going to be, that to me is going to be part of the what to watch for tomorrow. I don't think they're going to go all of a sudden into like lots of 11 personnel and do that. I think they'll figure it out where they could still get enough protection for Sam and not get too risky with folks like Calais up the middle there. But there's just no way to deny that the fabric of the team is pretty radically different 10 days ago to now.
Yeah. Well, it kind of takes me back to the Commanders game, too, because I don't think we're going to see a lot of sets where there's 3 wide receivers on the field for the Seahawks because with Kupp being questionable. Now, the nice thing about Kupp is that he did trend with his hamstring and heel injury. He had that nice trend that you like to see on the injury report where he didn't practice Wednesday, but then came back on Thursday and was limited, and then full practice, full go on Friday. So it's like, okay, you've trended in the positive direction. Same with Barner, just being limited with his calf injury. So while we say that he's questionable, like I have no question in my mind that AJ Barner is going to be playing a significant amount of snaps against the Cardinals. So, as much as we're focusing on the injury report, I think it is, more the guys who are out, and then a couple of those other guys who, Jaron Reed thing is weird to me with his wrist injury. And then did he break his thumb during the walkthrough on Friday because he was or Saturday because he was a full participant with a wrist injury. And then I thought that what I saw was a thumb injury that he was going on injured reserve for.
Well, without Adam here, I would say hard tell not knowing in honor of him because I don't know. And it's the exact opposite of what Cooper Kupp is doing this week. And obviously now he's landing on IR. So something happened. And if folks in the chat know if there's more detail out there and you could share it, that'd be awesome if you've got some information. It's in the velocity, let's put it that way, of like, oh, he's out to, oh, he's on IR. Now I know they had to make moves, right? They had to make some decisions because the roster they could not complete a roster without putting 2 dudes on IR to make the moves they had to make to basically have a full roster. With that, though, it's definitely scary if you go from, okay, you're out maybe a week to you're immediately missing 4 games on IR and we have no information.
Yeah.
That just doesn't feel good at all. Hopefully it's just something they're like, yep, he'll be back in December. Don't worry about it. But I am going to wait to hear that news because of the way that happened was just very irregular.
All right, Clinton.
Yes.
I think it is time. Let's get into some of these Blue Friday bets. I love that you've got a duck on there. I know you say that's a goose, but I believe that is actually a duck.
Well, you could argue with Grok or Chad, GPT, whoever I pumped it through. But we call it the profit goose here on Blue Friday bets. So you got a goose that we're going to get loose with it. And for folks that might not know, we could go to the next one too, just to show folks how the game is played. Oh, my bad. That one's
you take the controls. You take the wheel, buddy.
Fine. It's all good. All right. So Adam won last week. Adam's now 4-4. So he's won the last 2 weeks, and so the crown's on his head over there. But some of the ones that he hit, he was JCM, so Bill under his rushing yards. He was JSN all day, just spam that, and he hit that. And he had Seattle with giving more money. He goosed that to give more points to make more money. So he went 3 for 3 on his regular bets, and he was really close. He had Sam 4 touchdowns and then JSN with 10 receptions. He was actually really close to getting his Fail Mary also.
Two receptions off.
I know, right? I mean, if it wasn't such a blowout, he would have gotten that, right? Yeah. So, but it was a blowout. Not to be, but he is the champion, so he's going to go first, and you could represent his bets. But for folks that don't know how the game is played, because it is a game within a game, and by the way, even if you don't gamble or do FanDuel or anything, DraftKings, whatever, this is just another way to, you'll see, stick around, because it's another way to like analyze little moments and little things of like, what do we think a player might do? We're looking at props. We're looking at combinations of what's possible and why it's possible. So it's just more Seahawks analysis there, Brandon. Even if you don't like gambling, it's just Seahawks, right?
Yes, exactly. And that is one of the fun components of the show, that even if you're not going to bet, that there are things to watch for within this and analyze that I think a lot of people are going to be interested in.
I think so. So for those that have not seen it before, we're going to run through those 4 rounds you just saw on screen there. Bet 1, bet 2, bet 3. That is a $10 bet. Place it on anything you want, any odds you want to take, they're yours. The 4th down bet, we call it the Fail Mary, the Sunday Rubber, the Sunday Scratcher. It's only $1, but it must be plus 1,200 or longer odds to qualify, which means if you bet $1, you'd win at least $12 on that bet. Hence, it's a Fail Mary, which was a perfectly crummy catch. All right, so let's go back to this then, Brandon. So Adam goes first. That's how it works. Gentleman rules. He's on the tee box. I'll put it up on screen. He is spam botting again, because if it ain't broke, I guess don't worry about fixing it there, Brandon. JSN. Adam got a little, I'd say, conservative here, but he does this on first down a lot, where he took I think the over-under is 7.5. That Vegas has it. He actually teased it down, so it's at only minus 146, but he only needs 7 receptions to get there. Mm-hmm. So this is what Adam would say is like pulling out a 5-iron and just hitting it 180, 190 down the fairway. What do you think?
Yeah, this seems attainable, especially, even if they tend to shift more toward a run-heavy type offense. Say that the Arizona defense finally decides, like, okay, we're going to take away JSN. And I could see, Adam probably looking at that first game against the Cardinals and saying, hey, they were able to shut him out for half. Maybe they go back to that and really try and focus on him. And so maybe we either run it or spread the ball around a little bit more. So teasing it down, but still a very likely over.
It is. It's very likely over. So likely that my first bet, remember, I don't know what he's betting. He doesn't know what I'm betting. We just send them to each other. So my first bet was JSN. Oh, you got Marlon saying, I'll take 6 catches for 150 yards. Yeah, there you go, Marlon.
Yeah, I think Clinton would take that too, just so he can get ahead in the betting.
Yes, I like that math. I like that math, Marlon. So my first bet here is also a JSN bet, and I went the other direction. So, and I've got some math to back this up. So where Adam is, so here's the difference, right? Adam needs 7 receptions. Mm-hmm. If he gets 7, it's minus 146. Cool. I get 1 more reception. I get to 8. I get plus 122, which means if I bet $10, I'm making $12.20. We like those numbers. But here's a little math for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not the math. That's me counting because I didn't do my homework. 6 out of 8 games so far, JSN has had 8 or more receptions, including his last 4, where against the Bucks, he had 8, the Jaguars, he had 8, the Texans, he had 8, and the Commanders, he had 8. So 4 times in a row, he's hit 8. I'll take the goose here, Brandon. I'll take a little extra squeeze for 1 more reception from JSN when we got a whole new crew of wide receivers that are not JSN playing. Give me the man. Give me some more money. Which one do you like better of the 2?
Well, I like your optimism more, and I like that you're getting more money for your optimism. So I think I would. Yeah, gosh, how many times has he gone over 8 though? Over
just once. The first game of the year, 9 versus the Niners.
Okay. Shane Turner Acoustic coming back in. He's on the way out and just saying Hawks for the blowout with another $2.99 super chat. Rather give you guys money than gamble. Hey, I appreciate that. Cool. If you're, especially if you're not good at the betting thing, then we appreciate your support.
Yeah, last week on the live show, man, I should remember who it is. I apologize, and I will look it up because I'm pretty sure they're in our Discord too. But one of our YouTube members was like, "Hey, took he took a couple of the bets that Adam and I had put together and he comboed them, and he did really well. He won several $100s.
Yeah, and in that case, chip us off 10%. I mean, it's not that hard.
He did. He bought five YouTube memberships right then and there. So he paid it forward, which was.
I was just joking, but I do.
He did the thing. He did the thing. It was well done. So all right. So Adam's up on second down. I hinted earlier that we both kind of like our running backs to do some damage here. So put it on screen. Bet 2 for Adam. He's saying K9 60 plus at plus 60 plus rushing yards at plus 118. It always feels paltry, but then you go back and look at the stats and go, God, he doesn't get there that often because he does not. But he did against the Cardinals. Like it was, pretty much he's done 80 yards twice, I think, so far this year. And I think his most solid rounded game was 18 attempts for 81 or 82 yards versus the Cardinals. And I think Adam is just saying, give me more of that.
What I think I would like to see, and you guys are with these wish casting bets on the run game. It's like one of these, this is going to be the week that the run game finally breaks through. I think against the Cardinals, and especially with a lot of receivers in question, I'd really like to see K9 get involved more in the passing game. And so if I'm wish casting a bet, I think I would take the 60 plus rush plus pass. It might not get 118. Maybe you got to go up to 65 rush and pass yards. But I think if it were the same 118 and you had to do, because based on his catches this year, it'd probably only be an extra 5 yards to get the same odds.
Well, just to give you a little bit of math behind that, I looked at a bet earlier where when I was prepping, it was like K9 15 receiving yards was paying handsomely, like 15 plus. So that was paying like 180. So we could kind of guess the math from there is my point.
Yeah. So I kind of would like that a little bit more against, especially with this Cardinals matchup.
Yeah, no, I like that too. And he got a couple of key targets last game, and we actually covered that on 3 in 3 out for one of those awesome kind of hot route plays when Sam got a blitz off his right hand side,
over the middle there.
Third down conversion was a thing of beauty. So I would love to see that as well. I would like to see this hit. I don't want to root against Adam here. I'd like to see K9, in half 2 of the year, if it's not just the run game getting going, because again, the run game has been effective enough to do the thing it has to do. Like we're scoring 29 points.
But just start taking the unders, because why?
Boo. Boo. What do you want to make money? No. So he's here with 60 plus. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is this year. I went a little bit crazy on my last 2 here. Bet two and bet 3, down 2, down 3. I'll put it on screen. Look, I'm taking Byron Murphy to get another sack at plus 146. I liked this more. I put it in before the Jaron Reed news, so things are a little bit different. But I don't know that the Jaron Reed news changes this, in the sense that maybe it just actually means a few more pass rush opportunities for Byron Murphy. That could be what ends up on his plate. So maybe he just gets, let's say, I don't know, a 10% bump to his snaps, and he's got 5 on the year, depending on who you look at. Some say 5.5, some say 5. Regardless, plus 146. Brissett, I think we're going to get to Brissett 4+ times. So one of those times, I want to see that come right up the middle. Byron Murphy to get a 6th, and plus 146 is juicy enough for me. And I like the beef. What can I say, Brandon? I like the middle beef.
I was going to say, you could sell me on anyone on the defensive line with a sack in this game, because for that reason, it's not Kyler Murray back there trying to evade our defenders. And how many times did we get to Kyler last time? Was it like 6? One of those, at least, he ran out of bounds on his own, just trying to evade.
He does that.
It is something he does. I don't think we'll see that from Jacoby, but what we will see from Brissett is him standing in the pocket, and that makes it a whole lot less distance that our big dudes have to run in. And so, whether it's Leo, whether it's Byron, I would guess that Leo's odds are probably a little bit
There were
shorter.
a lot less. Yeah, Leo was actually negative money. So
Okay.
Leo was like basically minus 110, which is essentially even money because you got to pay the house. And then Nuosu was like plus 107 or something like that from my memory. So those are the two that Vegas thinks have the best odds to record a sack. And then Murphy was third, but it went all the way to 146. So I was kind of like looking at that like you were. I was like, well, if they think Leo is, basically even money and they want to pay me 146 for Murphy, who I think is pretty much as likely to get a sack as Leo, then give me the extra goose. So that's why I did it.
I like it. Well, why didn't you just parlay them all together and do your Fail Mary that way?
Oh, we're not there yet, are we? All right, so we got third down for back. This is still Adam. Adam has not been the biggest Zach Charbonnet fan throughout the year. However, Adam's a smart man, and he knows that when they get to the 5-yard line, hell's bells if Ken Walker's done all the work. It's Charbonnet time. So plus 145 is pretty good money. Charbonnet scores more touchdowns than K9 does. That's just facts. And so he's taking Zach to get in the end zone. What do you think?
I think I'd be curious to know what the AJ Barner anytime touchdown is with the way that they've been running him on those goal line plays, because I think against this Arizona defensive line, it might be a little bit tougher. I don't know if I would put money on Charbonnet, but I would tend to lean more toward AJ Barner if they got into another one of those 1-yard situations at the goal line.
It's been very successful. They ran it twice last week. First time they had the false start, which then we got the 5-yard first down to Ken Walker, the play we were mentioning earlier on the little wheel route or the Texas route out of the backfield. And of course they ran it at the goal line, and they run it very well. As much as I've talked about it, why I don't like the play, that's fine. Who cares? They run it well, and Barner executes it very well with the team. So yeah, I mean, he's become
Plus, with
the
Barner,
vulture
you have
vulture.
like that potential that he could catch a touchdown pass too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got what now, 5 on the year, right? But between the barnyards or 6. So either way, he's scoring a lot of touchdowns. Charbonnet at plus 145, not a bad bet, and some juice there. But I took it in a little bit different direction, also with a running back. So I do think this is a K9 day. Maybe just because he looked really quite good against Arizona the first time around. I do think he gets in the end zone. For him to get in the end zone anytime was plus 170, but I wanted to goose it a little bit more. So I took first half touchdown from Ken Walker. It goes all the way up to plus 380. I just think if he's going to score a touchdown, it is far more likely it's in the first half. Just how I feel about the way this game may break down. And I have no other reason besides I like that plus 380. I think he's due, but the Washington Generals were due too, but the Globetrotters kept kicking the crap out of them, so that didn't work out. So, but I think K9 is due. Brandon, help me out. What do you think?
Well, he's definitely due. I just don't know half 1 versus half 2. Is that because you think that we're going to be up more in the second half, and then it's just more likely we're going to run, and so they're going to run more packages to stop the run? Or is this more likely because...
Yeah, I have an answer.
Okay.
So great question. I think we've been more successful starting games running the football, mainly and when we're scripted. So I think Kubiak has been, let's say what it is, like really successful so far. He's been extremely successful in the scripted moments, and the scripted moments, they get their fair share of better run plays and more, plays where he's getting tackled by a linebacker or a safety where it's like, oh, that could pop. So that's why it's like, I just feel that they've been a little more successful with, not just volume of runs, that's probably been pretty equally distributed, but just more successful per run in the first half this year. So I think it's just more likely that he pops one. And he is still Ken Walker. He's not injured. He's still fast as heck. And the Cardinals can kick all the rocks. Let's go.
Yeah, Calais Campbell, Buda Baker, they fall down on one play, and he just breaks one for 80 yards.
I bid. I get plus 380. That sounds wonderful to me. All right, we'll take it to the Fail Mary. I go first in the Fail Mary. We reverse it. And look, if I like it once, then I'm going to like it. If I like it once, I like it twice, right?
You guys are going so hard on the run game, and this
it's just touchdowns. It's just variance, high variance touchdowns. But it's on screen for those that are listening on audio. But it's just 2 touchdowns in the game. This doesn't have to be any time, no slots. It doesn't matter if he does it in overtime. Please, Lord, no overtime. But 2 touchdowns for K9 gets me plus 1,300. I just think he's going to have I have a hunch that he's going to have a good day. Last week, I predicted that our tight ends were going to be pissed off that they missed National Tight Ends Day. And I thought that they would both have games. They both scored a touchdown. I just think it's going to be K9's kind of day. And I think I think he has a shot at getting in the end zone twice, but I really think he's going to get one. So we'll see. It's just unsupported confidence is how I'd put it.
Well, I think that, gosh, so he does have multiple career, like 2 touchdowns. Oh, and can this come through the air then? Is it just 2
touchdowns.
rushing touchdowns?
Yeah, this is just touchdowns.
Okay. I like it slightly more, but, and so in his career, he's had 7 games where he's scored 2 touchdowns or more, and that's through those are just rushing touchdowns. And then another one where he had 1 rush, 1 pass. So 8 total games in his career. Yeah, it's not unheard of. The only thing that gets me worried is that Charbonnet taking away some of those inside the red zone carries. But yeah, we just get long touchdowns from K9, which can be more fun.
I want a couple of breakaway touchdowns. I want that time when we were in LA and SoFi Stadium, I think it was, and he had like a 85-yard scamper and the like 40-something-year-old woman flipped him the bird. And that was the best. Like, I want to see that again. I want to see, or we're back home. So whatever, some lonely Arizona fan who bought a ticket, who's watching his team just get mollywopped, flip him the bird. And that's what I want for all of our Hawk Royals, but twice. So maybe double birds. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, that would be good. And it would almost double his current touchdown total, as Maximus Reldis is asking, how many touchdowns does K9 have? Only 3 on the year, and none through the air, only 3 on the ground. And I'd like to see him boost that total a little bit, but again, you guys are going heavy on the run game here. we very optimistic.
We very much are. And by the way, just one last thing on this. It's just a Fail Mary. But like many other years, or like almost all other times in K9's career, you couldn't get a Fail Mary number with 2 touchdowns for him because he was scoring more touchdowns. And it's just so I know he's got the fizz and he's got the pop, so he can do it. So I'm looking forward to celebrating it. All right, we got one more on there. This is Adam's Fail Mary. I'll explain it because it might be a little bit hard to read on screen. Basically, he's saying Cardinals stay in the points band between 0 and 10. So a shutout all the way up to Cardinals scoring 10 points. And Jacoby Brissett throws at least 2 interceptions. And he gets the plus 1,200. Brandon, if this happens, I will be so happy.
I love this.
This is the ultimate rah-rah Fail Mary. If this happens, we had a pretty good Sunday afternoon, didn't we?
You know, I was kind of with you on rooting for a couple of K9 touchdowns. Like, that sounded good to me. Yeah. I would enjoy this so much more.
This would be another defensive, just dominant performance, right? 2 picks. Cause then you start thinking, oh, who got the picks? Does even Maury get one? Like, you start getting fired up. Does Kobe get a floater that came over, over Trey McBride's head and lands in his chest? Like, you start thinking about that, and that's a lot of fun. Could Spoon finally get another one from his? I think he has 1 career interception, right? The pick 6 versus the Giants.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's due.
He's due also. Like, lay some bets. So it's a lot of fun. So those are our 3 bets, our 1, 2, and 3, our Fail Mary. That's what Blue Friday Bets is. We just have some fun looking at it. So if you're new to it, sometimes we'll tuck it into an episode like this. Sometimes it'll be a standalone episode. Either way, you should watch it. And if you are putting a little money out there, good luck. And if you're not, then cool. That's all good.
Yeah, and if you like to save your money for helping to support the show, getintheflock.com. You get some value out of it. You join our Discord. You get ad-free episodes that, if you're annoyed that maybe in your podcast feed there's an ad that shows up at the beginning or is dropped into the middle, you don't have to worry about that if you are subscribed and getting your RSS feed through getintheflock.com. And just $3 a month. Shoot, I think we might even have it so it's $12 for the year. And for ad-free episodes, I feel like that should be worth it.
I mean, geez, $1 a month, right? What can you get for $1 a month nowadays? So, and that's how, again, it's value for value. If you have it and you find value, then cool, that's great. And if you just don't have the money, then that's okay too. It's certainly okay. And then you could like the show, subscribe on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, for our members out on YouTube, we have been doing more recently, like putting videos out to YouTube members before they're live to everybody, just as like another little perk that way, because, you have all these different ways that you can contribute as flockers, and we appreciate it. And we just try to pull the levers that offer a little bit more value there. So thank you, because you all are awesome.
Well, thanks to everyone who helped support the show today. We got Ryan 911, our live executive producer, and Shane Turner Acoustic, who both came in with super chats today. And another way to provide value, like Maximus Relda saying, like the video and subscribe to the channel. That doesn't cost you anything. And again, it's finding ways to help support. Leave a review. There's even places where you can leave reviews, and that's helpful too.
Yeah, Apple, like that. That's one of those, right? So, which is a lot of fun. So, Brandon, tomorrow we know that Adam's on the road. He's out there in the mills, I believe, doing his thing. Yeah. So, what's the deal? Is he going to join you tomorrow night? Am I slated to join you? Do we have a plan?
If we had planned that far ahead, I would have had a plan set up. No, I think Adam's going to be back in time, so it'd probably be you, Adam and I doing the post game. But if not, be ready, buddy. You could go in at any time.
All right, there we go. I will be ready.
I'll try and let you know ahead of time so you don't have to do it in your tank top.
I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.